Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, in yourself.
I'm very well, thank you. Okay, so yeah, so today we are going to learn about mixed method in research. So the other time we did something on we covered the quantitative method, and Pindele was able to also cover the qualitative side. Today is about the mixed method, and what we are going to cover is the overview of qualitative research, what mixed method is really about, steps in designs of mixed methods. Then we'll conclude the lecture. If you check the textbook recommended for this course, chapter 9 is where mixed method was covered. So you can refer to the textbook. Mixed methods is a combination of both quantitative and qualitative methods of research. There are certain research types that will require those methods to be applied. One, it might be either to verify results, either the result of the qualitative side or the result of the quantitative side. So it's a methodology that involves collecting, analyzing, integrating quantitative and qualitative research in a single study. And the purpose of this form of research is that both qualitative and quantitative research are required in combination to provide a better understanding of the research problem. That's the scope of the research or issue. And this implies that none of the methods can be used in replace of the other. Both methods are required together in order for the results to be obtained in that particular research. So mixed method can be used in quantitative, qualitative, as I've explained, and also it can be used to also explain the quantitative findings. In a situation whereby a research has already been conducted in qualitative, using qualitative method, actually, in some cases, the quantitative data can also be required to be analyzed in order to confirm that the result obtained actually is actually what it is, to confirm the result and to make sure that the research is according to the steps and the following the scope, and in order also to answer the question of the research. So it can also be used in interviews to help explain the survey findings or individual interviews. Um, the steps with mixed methods is just determine the types of data analysis required, either quantitative or qualitative. There is a link here that can lead you to the steps described by the research method for the UNISA Research Center. You can look at that, the just look at it and see how the steps, how you can use the qualitative method, you apply it. When you finish applying the qualitative method, you can also apply the quantitative method just to verify and confirm your results and make sure that that result really answered the question. And in this case, for you to follow up the step in with mixed methods, you need to also have a purpose statement. This is in terms of the scope of your research, how is your research designed, and what question are you trying to answer with that in that research. That will determine the steps you need to follow in order to achieve mixed methodology in a research. And then mixed method combination, you can use qualitative text data, sample of text files of interview transcripts. Then you code those answers. In this case, you can have um, questionnaire. When people finish answering the questionnaire, you can code the transcript through the software Atlas TI. Also, you can download data regarding that particular research one is conducting. So when you finish doing having putting the research, the data, excuse me, in the maybe coding the answers from the questionnaire, then you have the numeric, and combine these two and probably do the research using the SPSS for statistical analysis in order to be able to look at the analyze the results and also know what the result is trying, whether the result is actually answer the question you are trying to answer in that particular research. For this quantitative, you can use the software like SurveyMonkey also, and depending on what is there. So you can mix them and probably run the regression concurrently, or you can first of all analyze the result of the qualitative data, and then analyze the result of the quantitative data, and then you measure and try to look at the result to know whether the a priori expectation or the scope of that research is met. Then this is the sequential design. As I was trying to explain before, you can first of all use quantitative data. The result of the quantitative data, after the analyzing the data, the true regression and all those, you can also apply the look at the results from the qualitative data and then use them for interpretation. This is called the explanatory design. And then for the exploratory design, you can also the result from the qualitative data. When you finish analyzing the qualitative data, you can also check it against the results you got from the quantitative data analysis. Then from there you can be able to interpret your results. Then there is sequential embedded design. In this case, before the intervention, probably with qualitative, it can go both ways, either quantitative or qualitative. You can just use or look at the results combined, and then before you interpret your results, you don't have to probably use one against the other. You just in this case, both results can be required in order for you to be able to say, okay, this is the scope of the research, and this is the research, this is the answer to the research based on the qualitative analysis done and the quantitative analysis done. It really helps. In this case, it really helps to understand very well what the result is trying to tell us, and it also remove all those help us to rectify all those issues of outliers probably that might be pointing into some direction of research where we did not want our research to be in. It can also help to look at those, solve those problems. Then for like I've just explained here, the explanatory, the exploratory, and also the embedded analysis when you're doing your mixed method. Both of these designs can be applied either to confirm results or both can be used depending to analyze the results. Then this is mixed method sequential. Okay, I've gone. Oh, I've gone. So, reasons why we require mixed method. People will be like, why do we need to apply qualitative, quantitative methods in research for us to be able to do the analysis, or to analyze the result of our research? I mean, is it not the same data, or is it not probably is the data from the quantitative side not sufficient enough to explain the scope of the research, or to answer the questions in the research? In some instances, you find out that neither one of the two supersedes the other, in the sense that both of them have a role to play in attaining the scope of the research. So it might be that the arguments presented, the quantitative or the qualitative side, is not explaining the arguments. Like I mentioned before in the issue of outliers, there are cases whereby you will get a data and look at the maybe conduct interview, let's say on road accidents, or maybe to understand how a particular side of the maybe road, why there is accidents on that particular road. You might say, okay, let's understand what time this accident usually happens on this road. We can conduct we can use questionnaire to conduct interview to get people's views on that particular road, to understand what is really going on, based on people's perception or what they've witnessed. In this instance, it can be biased, in the sense that those people who answer those questionnaires, you might even see somebody who has passed through that road once, and they will answer that questionnaire based on their view, their understanding on what was happening, or what happened on that road when they just passed, and it was just once. You cannot say that is the sample, that particular sample is random enough or is sufficient. The argument is sufficient because that driver just passed there once. So you would like to say, okay, let's also use the data collected probably by the road traffic wardens, to say, let's use it in order to prove whether the argument presented in this questionnaire is okay, is right, or maybe we'll get something else. So in that case, you will need to apply both the quantitative and the qualitative analysis in order to arrive at that conclusion. There might also be multiple angles of arguments presented that you really needed to get people's view, and also use data to be able um, to make the argument sufficient. In this case, you can say government expenditure in some of our rural areas. Government can come out and say that they've spent billions of rands, as we see what is going on currently, billions of rands on that particular municipality. And they will bring out their book. We will use it to analyze government expenditure in this place. We will be like, yeah, government is spending. But when you conduct a kind of interview, when you using questionnaire, you'll be able to understand that maybe government is actually spending, but they are not even attending to the needs of those people in that community or municipality, so to speak. So those angles of research will be required in order, one, for government to be able to understand where to channel the resources, and also based on the data used, you won't get the view of the level of government expenditure in that particular area to be able to, further the argument, so to speak. So those are the areas. There is also cases where more evidence, when you have more evidence, like I've explained, the better the argument of the combination of both methodologies, to get evidence and also to align with the scope of the research. That's areas where the mixed method might really be required. Then looking at this triangulation design of the mixed method, you can see quantitative data collection. I'm just trying to explain what I've just said before. You can also see the data analysis. That's the quantitative data collection and analysis. You see the result. Then you go to the qualitative side and you collect the data. That's through interview and all those observations and then you analyze those qualitative data. Then you compare the two results to say, okay, is there any discrepancies in these results? What's the results trying to tell us from the quantitative and the qualitative side? When you do this comparison, it also helps to bring out those areas that ordinarily we might not see from just one angle of the analysis. Mixed method helps us in that way a lot. So the purpose statement, this has to do with also with the triangulation design I showed before. If you look at it, you said, okay, this mixed method study will address the overall content aim of the research or study. So a triangulation mixed method design will be used, and it is a type of design in which different but complementary data will be collected on the same topic. In this study, as you can see, quantitative, sorry about that, quantitative instrument will be used to test the theory, the theoretical framework being specified when we are doing our research. We can use those quantitative instruments or data, to kind of uh, um, analyze and check whether the theory apply in that instance. You can use the quantitative method, that can help to show where the that independent variable, whether the independent variable will influence positively or negatively the dependent variable, like the issue of government expenditure and economic growth, you know. So whether government expenditure increases economic growth, or maybe government expenditure and maybe per capita, maybe income growth, so to speak, whether government expenditure in terms of infrastructure and domestic formation, all those things will help to improve the standard of living and all those things. You look at it, and in some cases, you will see that the independent variable will influence maybe negatively to the dependent variable, or positively, as the case may be, to the dependent variable. So in this type of research, you also use, concurrent with the data, this data collection of the qualitative data. You can maybe interview or sample designs to explore the central phenomena for the participants, at the site. The reason for collecting both qualitative and quantitative data are to bring together the strength of both forms of research, to compare result, validate result, or collaborate result, as the case may be, depending once again on the research question, the scope of the research, or what the researcher is actually trying to achieve. In conclusion, irritation to study or in the discipline of economics, qualitative or quantitative data can be used separately, but like I've explained, in some instances, those methodologies could be required to be put together because of the scope of the research question, or what the researcher is trying to find out. Um, maybe it can help to arrive at where the research is being directed towards to, or it can even point out an area where further research is being required for future researchers, or probably for but those who want to continue in that area to look into. So it serves a lot and different purposes. Mixed method can help research, and it serve different purposes. Um, thank you very much, Ian, so far. And that's the end. Any questions so far?
No, no questions from my side.
Okay. Someone is trying to probably type the question or something. Okay, thank you. The person also said thank you, nothing from my side for now. I guess maybe the lesson went well. So thank you all, and that's the end of our lesson today. Bye. Someone is maybe trying to say something.
Yes, if I may continue to.
Oh, please.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I would like to check if we are going to have access on the recording, including the slides. Besides that, I also have a question on assessment number 1. Is there a way that we can access the results for assessment number 1? I did check my UNISA. I couldn't see anything. Thank you.
The marking of the assessment is not completed yet, but once the marking is completed, which is very soon, you will see the results. For the recording, you will get the recording on the website. Then the textbook is also, I guess they have the textbook. Okay, yeah. So that is it. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you too. All right. That's the end of our lesson for today. Thank you all, and bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.